In 2022, as food prices hit record highs and governments raced to save the global grain supply, one solution sat ignored. A crop so resilient and so nutritious, it could have changed the outcome. But this plant, amaranth, could never be patented, controlled, or monopolized. That is why it vanished from our plates. Why would a perfect food be erased? And who decided what the world eats? Amaranth's roots reach back thousands of years, long before the rise of modern agriculture, and its legacy is ancient. Archaeological evidence traces its domestication to between 6,000 and 8,000 years ago in the valleys of what is now Mexico and the Andes. For the Aztecs, it was huautli, a central part of daily life and ceremony, woven into the fabric of their civilization. Each year, farmers delivered tons of amaranth as tribute to Tenochtitlan, filling granaries alongside maize and beans. The Incas knew it as kiwicha, cultivating it on terraced slopes high in the Andes, where few other crops could survive. But amaranth's influence spread far beyond the Americas. It became global. By 800 CE, it was growing in Chinese river valleys under the name Xianxi, and by 500 CE, it had reached West Africa through trans-Saharan trade routes, known locally as Bonkora. Across continents, it adapted to different soils and climates, thriving wherever people saved its seeds. In each place, it became more than just a food. In Mexico, Nahua communities still recount stories of ancestors shaping amaranth and honey into statues of gods, rituals meant to bring strength and health. In Rajasthan, India, families have kept local varieties alive for generations, planting them for festivals and ceremonies. These are living traditions of care and cultivation. This was never an exotic novelty. Amaranth was a foundation, sustaining entire societies, traded across empires, and carried forward by the hands of countless farmers. Its story is not one of obscurity, but of deep, unbroken continuity, stretching from the ancient world to the present. Amaranth stands apart from other grains in ways that go far beyond tradition. Its seeds contain about 14% protein, nearly double the content of rice, and higher than most varieties of wheat. But it is not just the quantity that matters. Amaranth offers a complete protein profile containing all 9 essential amino acids. Lysine, the amino acid often missing from cereals, appears in amaranth at close to 3 times the level found in wheat. That single detail changes everything for nutrition. The leaves, often overlooked, carry their own advantages. Gram for gram, amaranth leaves deliver more calcium than milk and more iron than spinach. A single serving provides a significant share of daily requirements for vitamins A and C, along with fiber and antioxidants that support immune health. Both the seeds and the greens are gluten-free, making them accessible to people with celiac disease or gluten sensitivities. USDA and FAO nutrition tables confirm these numbers. In 100 grams of amaranth leaves, there is about 215 milligrams of calcium, far more than the same amount of cow's milk. Iron content can reach 7 milligrams per 100 grams, easily outpacing spinach. The seeds also supply squalene, a rare antioxidant, and healthy oils prized for heart health. These facts are not the result of modern breeding or laboratory enhancement. They are the legacy of a plant shaped by thousands of years of selection, grown and eaten by people who needed every possible advantage from their food. On paper, amaranth outclasses nearly every staple in the modern diet. The question is not whether it works. The question is why, despite this record, it is missing from the world's food supply. Amaranth's survival isn't just a matter of ancient tradition. It's a matter of raw endurance. Where modern grains falter, amaranth keeps growing. Fields that defeat wheat or corn, thin soils, relentless drought, baking midday sun pose little threat to this plant. Agronomists have tested amaranth in some of the harshest environments on record. In trials across sub-Saharan Africa, South Asia, and the American Southwest, amaranth produced reliable harvests with no irrigation, no chemical fertilizers, and no pesticides. Once established, its deep roots draw water from far below the surface, allowing it to withstand up to 40 days without rain. Speed is another advantage. While wheat and maize can take up to 4 or 5 months to mature, amaranth reaches harvest in as little as 60 days. In places where the growing season is short or weather turns suddenly, that difference can mean the gap between hunger and survival. Each plant, barely waist-high, scatters up to 50,000 seeds, enough to reseed a field many times over, or to feed a family through a lean season. The Food and Agriculture Organization calls amaranth one of the most promising crops for future food security. Its resilience is not theoretical. It has kept communities alive during droughts, wars, and famines for centuries. The tragedy is not that amaranth failed. It is that a crop so capable of thriving under pressure was pushed to the margins, not by nature, but by human design. In the wake of conquest, the Spanish authorities moved swiftly to reshape the land and its people. Amaranth, once delivered by the ton to the Aztec capital, became a target for eradication. Its role in indigenous ceremonies, where dough shaped into gods was eaten by entire communities, was seen as a threat to the new order. Colonial edicts, echoed by the Catholic Church, condemned such rituals as heresy. Starting in 1521, bans on amaranth cultivation spread across the Valley of Mexico. Dominican friars and colonial governors oversaw the destroyed of fields. Records describe over 10,000 hectares burned by 1540 in Central Valleys alone. Farmers caught growing amaranth risked severe reprisals. Hands were cut off, fields confiscated, and entire harvests seized as evidence of forbidden practice. Wheat, a European grain with no ritual ties, was imposed as the new staple. The Florentine Codex, compiled decades later, preserves the memory of these ceremonies and the violence that followed. In the highlands and remote valleys, a handful of families hid seeds, planting them in secret. But in the heartlands, amaranth's disappearance was not an accident. It was a deliberate act of power, an early lesson in how control over food shapes the fate of entire cultures. In the early 1970s, as food crises rippled across the globe, amaranth made an unexpected return to the spotlight. Agricultural scientists at the Rodale Research Center collected over 1,000 varieties and ran pilot tests that caught the attention of international agencies. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization named amaranth one of the world's most promising crops for fighting hunger and malnutrition. The National Academy of Sciences echoed the praise, highlighting its high protein content and resilience in poor soils. NASA even tested amaranth for space missions, reporting that it produced more biomass than wheat under controlled conditions. Reports from the World Food Conference in 1974 listed amaranth alongside a handful of underutilized crops that could feed a growing population. For a moment, it seemed poised for a global comeback. Yet the excitement faded as quickly as it began. Despite endorsements from some of the world's most respected institutions, amaranth never reached commercial scale. The question lingered: why did a plant with so much promise remain on the sidelines? In the modern seed industry, value is measured by control. Crops like wheat and maize generate billions because their seeds are patented or hybridized, forcing farmers to buy new stock every season. This system creates a steady loop. Companies invest in crops that guarantee recurring revenue. Governments subsidize those same grains, and the global food market narrows to what can be controlled and sold. Open pollinated plants like amaranth break this cycle. Their seeds can be saved and replanted endlessly, producing food but no royalties. For seed companies, there is little incentive to invest in crops that anyone can grow and share freely. In Kenya, this logic played out in the fields. When NGOs and researchers introduced amaranth to smallholders in Makueni County, yields soared even during drought, and nutrition surveys showed sharp drops in childhood anemia and stunting. But the market told a different story. National grain buyers refused to purchase amaranth. School meal programs listed only maize and wheat, and transporters ignored the crop. Without a guaranteed buyer or subsidy, farmers abandoned amaranth and returned to maize, even as the health gains faded. The failure was never in the plant. It was in the system that rewards control over nourishment. Today, nearly 75% of the world's food comes from just 12 crops, most controlled by a handful of companies. As climate shocks grow, our dependence deepens. The seeds of resilience are still in our hands. If we choose to plant them, what would you reclaim if profit were not the gatekeeper?